Hi, I'm Bob McCoy, and I'm the director of the Geophysical Institute at the University of Alaska Fairbanks. In the next 3 minutes, I'm going to be talking about what incredible geophysical cool stuff we have in Alaska. A great deal of geophysical phenomena that we have that's in our backyard that we can use for research, but no other state, no other university has this kind of stuff available to them. So just to walk through it, the first is the aurora. We routinely have the aurora. You can see it around Fairbanks from about mid-August to mid-April, big storms. To study the aurora, we have a number of operational facilities, like a sounding rocket range. We help NASA launch rockets into the aurora. We have instruments all over Alaska, all sky cameras, GPS instruments, photometers, riometers. And about 4 hours south, we have the HARP facility, the High Frequency Active Aurora Research Program, where we can use to actually create our own aurora and to study ionospheric effects. So aurora is something that's a unique geophysical phenomenon. We were created by Congress about 75 years ago, mainly to study the aurora because of effects on communication at the end of World War II. Volcanoes. There's 54 active volcanoes in Alaska. There's an eruption about every 3 months. I think right now 3 volcanoes are erupting. Shoshalden, Cleveland, and Semi-Sepochnoi. So if you want to study volcanoes, this is a great place to come and study volcanoes. We have a volcanology group, and we have the northern part of the Alaska Volcano Observatory that monitors all these volcanoes, provides early warnings and predicts where the ash is going to go. Permafrost. 90% of the state is permafrost. The only state with a whole bunch of permafrost. Like half the Arctic is permafrost, but it's fascinating to study it. If you build on permafrost, you have a lot of problems unless you do it correctly. And the permafrost is thawing as it's warming up. So we do quite a bit of research all around the state and all around the Arctic in permafrost. Earthquakes. There's a typically 43,000 earthquakes a year in Alaska. Last year, I think there were 53,000 earthquakes, including a 7.1 in Anchorage. I think maybe 7,000 to 10,000 of those were aftershocks from that big 7.1. There's a 7.1 magnitude earthquake in Alaska, but every 2 years, and now maybe every other year, or every year. So we study seismology. We have the Alaska Earthquake Center that's in the Geophysical Institute, and the state seismologist is one of our faculty. Sea ice. 270 square miles of Alaska shoreline is covered with ice sometimes. Not at the moment, but it's getting there. This is a great place to study sea ice. This is a picture of one of our faculty, Andy Mahoney, who went out in 2018 with the Navy ICEX exercise, helped them set up runways and set up a camp, spent 6 weeks out on the polar ice. 3 submarines showed up, two U.S. and 1 British submarine. Andy ate MREs, dried food for 6 weeks. I asked him, did they take you on the submarines? And he said, yeah. And I said, did they give you a warm meal? And they said, no, just a cup of coffee. So I'm demanding this year, when Andy goes out in 2020, that he goes on a submarine to get a warm meal for all his good work. Glaciers. We have 100,000 glaciers in Alaska. Most of them are disappearing fast. Some are growing. If you heard Mark Fonestocks standing behind the sign there talk over in the Google or his lightning talk, it's a fascinating review of what's been happening, looking from space with USGS satellite data for the last since the mid-70s. And finally, Arctic weather. We have some very strange weather in the interior of Alaska. This is the time-lapse photo of the sun on the shortest day of the year, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. Sun rises about 10:30 in the morning and sets about 2:30 in the afternoon. Sun angle is very low. The air is very stable. No wind, which makes it some very strange chemistry and some very strange. We're starting to see some very strange aerosols show up in Alaska that have never showed up in the United States before, and we often see aerosols and other things coming in from China and Russia. So it's a great place to study all this phenomena that doesn't exist anywhere else in the United States. We have all these fascinating facilities like Rocket Range and Volcano Observatory and Earthquake Center and HARP. We downlink a lot of satellite data. About 40% of NASA's polar orbiting data is downlinked in our Alaska satellite facility. So it's a great place, and I'd encourage you to come up and check it out. Thanks. Any questions?